Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. We are going to try to see if we can catch Ethereum crossing a modest $1,500. Let's see if we can watch it coming in hot right now. It's coming in hot at 1490. Obviously, this will be a pretty big moment if it can get to that $1,500 mark. So we're sure as hell not going to miss it. Let me just post this a few different places, and then we will jump in. How's everyone doing? All right, we're at 1492. We are at 1492, and let's see where we go here. So so hopefully we can watch Ethereum ring in a modest $1,500. This is obviously overdue, especially considering where Bitcoin is, but hopefully we're about to make it. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up, subscribe. You guys know the drill. Let's usher in a $1,500 Ethereum. We're currently at 1495. 1493. I think we're going to usher it in. Hopefully we're about to usher it in. Yeah, supposedly there's a correlation between the number of likes and the price of Ethereum. Can everyone hear me okay? We only got about $7 to go. All right, sounds like you guys can hear me. Sometimes I get worried about my microphone not working. All right, we are okay. We're at 1497. We're so close. We're so close. 1497.60, 1498. We're almost there. Let's ring in history of $1,500 Ethereum. This is kind of like the equivalent to a $20,000 Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin never really made it to 20K back in 2017. So breaking that into the 20K, I feel like 1,500 is Ethereum's 20K to some degree, because I mean 19.9 was also an all-time high for Bitcoin, but the main milestone was 20K. So I feel like for Ethereum, that milestone is 1,500. That's that closest round number above what we got to. So hopefully we can get above it and continue moving on up. We're at 1496. Actually, I'm gonna switch this over to Coinbase because that's what we normally watch. So this one's lower, and the reason we watch this one is because it's lower. Yeah, we can go the easy route and go with the higher one, but Coinbase tends to be lower. So we're gonna hold Ethereum to a high standard. It needs to hit 1,500 on Coinbase. So we've seen this type of movement before. We know that we can get rejected a few times, but once it breaks, things can move quickly. So we want to be prepared for that. Things can move quickly if it breaks and gets above 1,500. No, be prepared does not mean chase the pump. Hopefully everyone already has their positions locked in at this point. chasing pumps is certainly not ideal. Remember, when we approached other key values, we saw it get rejected a few times. So I wouldn't get too concerned about that. It doesn't mean we can't come up and keep trying. So keep that in mind, that when you approach these major milestones, there's going to be some sellers. But again, at the end of the day, it's possible for Ethereum to just cut through it like butter. Someone says they sold their family farm for this pump. I sincerely hope not. If you did and you cash out, maybe you can get 2 family farms. Yeah, that's the idea, right? Like, if you already don't have a position on Ethereum, like, why would you get one now? I mean, we've had so long to get positions on Ethereum when it was way less than this. Yeah, someone says, why is 1500 resistance? It's as I said, I think it's kind of like Bitcoin's 20K. Bitcoin never really made it to 20K. The peak was around, it was well short of 20K, but still, it wasn't really that impressive for it to get to like 19.9. Everyone wanted to see it get to 20K. So for Ethereum, it's kind of like 1500 is that milestone. And I understand on some exchanges it might have had these really weird wicks that went above it. We're not concerned about that. We're not concerned about that at all. Someone says he sold his bed for Ethereum, so he'll never be able to get out of bed for anything. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Because there's a lot of days it's not worth getting out of bed for a lot of these moves. But if you don't have a bed, then I guess um, you can't get out of it if you don't have one. Someone asked if we could watch a sell wall on. Let me pull it up. I'm just making sure I don't have any sensitive information on this. I don't believe I do. So here's the order book. You can see at 1500, there's going to be some walls to take down. Okay, there's going to be walls to take down. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll certainly keep an eye on that. Interestingly, Bitcoin right now is above its 20-day. So we've talked about that before. So right now, I believe it is slightly above it. So Bitcoin showing a little bit of bullishness because it's above the 20-day. Doesn't mean it's going to put in a new all-time high anytime soon. Doesn't mean it's not. But it could just mean that it's not immediately bearish. And because it's not immediately bearish, it's somewhat catalyzing this move by Ethereum. Yeah, we should look at Ethereum, Bitcoin. And by the way, this to actually break 1500, it could take a little while. Okay, we said this. Well, we've seen this many times before. It go up and then get rejected, and maybe in 20 minutes it'll try again. Let's look at the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation. So you can see that this week is already recovering some of the losses from last week. We're coming back up to the top of this little, what we used to call the theoretical reaccumulation range. By the way, something that is really, really important, and I mean, I cannot stress how important this is, and if it keeps doing this, it's not good for Bitcoin. DXY is still pumping. It's now at 91 point, it's almost at 91.2. So you need to keep an eye on that. Things are getting crazy right now, but you have to keep an eye on the dollar. If the dollar keeps pumping, it's likely not going to be good for Bitcoin in the short term. Of course, I still think we're fairly early on in the grand scheme of the cycle, but in the short term, if the dollar keeps pumping, that's not going to be a good thing. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, we'll quickly pull it up. We'll quickly pull it up. We'll go to DXY. So this is what I was talking about. This is the same level that DXY rebounded at in early 2018. Okay, so if it rebounds here again, that's not good for Bitcoin. So that's what you want to keep an eye on, is the dollar. And so far, it has been rebounding pretty strong. And we said, a lot of people think that it has to keep crashing because of the idea of printing money. Markets can price that stuff in well before you think they can. So again, if the market were so easy to predict in the short term, then everyone would be a millionaire, right? I mean, it's simply not that easy. Markets will price things in. By the time you know about it, you could probably argue that the market has already priced it in. No, we don't need to pull up Chainlink right now. You guys know I'm a big fan of Chainlink, but it's an Ethereum show. This is an Ethereum show. Obviously, ADA. We'll quickly pull up ADA because ADA's a champ. 43 cents. It looks like it went up to around 46 cents earlier. ADA's a champ. Right now, we got to watch Ethereum. We're not going to miss. If Ethereum happens on my watch and I miss it, I will not forgive myself. If it hits 1,500. Remember what happened in Bitcoin when Bitcoin got above 20K. It instantly rocketed up to like 23K. This is why we want to watch it, because if it breaks, then things can start moving very quickly. Make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Turn on the alerts. You guys know the drill. Let's see if we can pull in a $1,500 Ethereum. If we pull up our log of the 20-week over the price, let's see what's going on there. So let's auto that out. So you can see where we are. We still have a ways to go to theoretically reach the same level of overvaluation from the 20-week that we were at in 2018. We're not even close. And what's crazy is because Ethereum has calmed down for a few days, we're not even as high as we were, back in the early part of January, because the 20-week moving average has been playing catch up. So in order for us to get up to this level, I'm not going to redo the calculation because we did it yesterday, but in order for Ethereum to get to the same level of extension from the 20-week moving average that it did in 2018, it would correspond, if it happened this week, it would correspond to a $2,000 Ethereum. If it happened next week, it might correspond to a $2,200 Ethereum. But this is just talking about levels of overextension from prior cycles. It's possible we don't make it to this level of overextension from the 20-week. Okay? It is a possibility we don't. We're just saying that if we do, then that would be the same level of overextension that we were at in early 2018. And then we also showed the Ethereum exponent or logarithmic regression stuff, wherever it is. So again, we've seen it. I mean, obviously, you could argue, what does this mean? We need to switch over to Kraken because it has more data. But we've seen it kind of hesitate around this yellow band before, if the yellow band is meant to be anything, right? A 2 or 3 week hesitation there, at the yellow, about a month or two hesitation here, and again here we've been hesitating around it for about 3 weeks or so. So this is kind of where we are in the grand scheme of the cycle. The reason we have these regression bands is for us to help visualize where we are and to recognize that in the same way that Bitcoin is likely not going to get up to, say, its peak regression bands. Sorry, I need to keep an eye on Ethereum because I don't want to miss this. So in the same way that Bitcoin, it seems to trend down each cycle in terms of where it makes it on the regression rainbow, we would also expect Ethereum to do the same. So I don't really anticipate it going up to this upper regression band again. But again, time is on our side, right? I mean, time is on our side. These functions are monotonically increasing functions, so the longer we're kind of just chugging along, time is on our side. So if we were to drop one regression band at the peak, which I feel like we probably would drop more than one, but that would currently correspond to around a $9,000 Ethereum. If we were to drop two, it would correspond to a $5,000 Ethereum. Bitcoin would drop 2.5. Now these log lines are not identical to Bitcoin's, but let's suppose that it dropped 2.5. Then right now that would be capped at around 3,600. But again, these regression lines are monotonically increasing, so imagine a scenario universe within the multiverse where it comes back up here, comes back down, and then later trends up, then it could still come up to that midpoint line, and then later on it could be much higher. So again, time is on our side. What we want is that momentum. We've been building a lot of momentum for a while now. We're going to switch over to there it is on Bitfinex. We're above 1500. We brought it in. Let's switch it back over to Coinbase and see if Coinbase is above 1500 yet. No, it's at 1497. Let's pull it up. We got a little wall here. Probably going to break through it here in a second if it follows. 1497 still. Yeah, here it is at 1498, 1499. The volume's coming in. Let's see it. 1499.99. Here we are. We're on the cusp of the sell wall. There's some sellers. It's okay. It's okay if they want to take profits. Nothing wrong with taking profits. We're not gonna say that they can't take profits. Let them take their profits. Yeah, we looked at Ether, Bitcoin. Yeah, this is obviously something we really want to follow. And we've looked at this trend line before. Again, we don't necessarily have to respect the trend line. Just because we've respected it 3 times, more or less, here, 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 if we were to respect it again, it would correspond to about a 4.0475. So we'd be looking at 0475. But in the same way that we went below it, we could also go above it. There's nothing necessarily precluding us from flying above it. And if Ethereum is able to sustainably break 1500 in the short term, then there's a decent chance that we would go above it because, you could see a rather quick price appreciation once it gets past that major milestone. I would caution people, whenever, historically speaking, when you get to that point where Ethereum goes on into this manic price discovery mode, it sort of sets the time. It sort of starts the clock. Okay, it sort of starts the clock on alt season, at least in the short term. So I would say be careful, right? If Ethereum goes to if it gets above 1500 and it goes to 16, 17, if it goes up to 2000 and keeps heading up, and if you see the rest of the altcoin market move in kind, Bitfinex got it back to 1500 for a second. If you see the rest of the altcoin market move in kind, then the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Historically, you're not going to get that many more weeks. You can get a few weeks. It can last for a while, so we're not going to claim it can't. But if we get to the point where every morning you wake up and there's 10 different coins in the top 25 that are up 20, 30, up to 100% or more, just know that it's getting close to likely it's getting close to a pretty big pullback. But again, that typically comes at the end of Ethereum price discovery. And you could argue that Ethereum hasn't even entered price discovery yet, because I think 1500 is that kind of that critical milestone that we need to get past. But yeah, we definitely have hit 1500 on Bitfinex. We hit it. We saw it go above it. We saw it go to 1501. Obviously, we would like to see it happen across all exchanges. We're following Coinbase here because it tends to be among the hardest to get above. I mean, it seems like it's the hardest one to actually get above these milestones. So I understand that 1500 was already touched, but we want to see it go above 1500. You can see on Bitfinex right now, it's already above 1500, but it's being held back. You can see Coinbase is still below 1500. So we don't have it. We don't have it quite yet. Bitfinex is at 1501. Let's watch it. Let's watch it here on Coinbase. 1499. Let's see if the sell wall gets eaten. If it does, we might have clear skies for a little bit. So close. So close. Make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. There's a rumor that in order to get to $1,600 Ethereum, we need to get to 1,600 likes. Subscribe at the very least. Let's see if we can break past 1500 here. All right, we're at 1498 still. Let's check back. Let's check back over here. You can see on Bitfinex it's already about 1502. So it seems like Coinbase is on the cusp of breaking 1500. We just need to see that volume surge in. Yeah, we got a 1500 on Bitfinex, but can we get it on Coinbase? This is what we want. We want to see it on Coinbase. Let's be greedy on wanting to see it across all exchanges, not just on a couple. Obviously, you know, it's still being held just above 1500 on Bitfinex. You can see that on Coinbase it's still below 1500. So we're not quite there yet. And we have hit 1500. We can say that we did hit 1500. You can see on Coinbase it hit 1500. So mission accomplished. But now our new mission, you know, a $1,500 Ethereum is great and all, but I would, you know, I wonder what a $1,600 Ethereum would feel like. And so this is what we want to see. We want to see it get above 1500 and start surging above it. And I mean, by the way, if we were to go to the next band here, so this band, when we were at this band, it was around 130. When we were at this green one, it was around 230. When we went to the gray one at the bottom, it was around 370. This one we just blasted through at 770. Right now we're right at 1500. If we are able to make it to the next one, the next stepping stone here, then it would be, I mean, I don't know. It's obviously possible that we should have our doubts here, but it would correspond to closer to a $2,800 Ethereum, which, you know, if you think about it, right, it's not like it's that absurd to think about a $2,800 Ethereum. I mean, it represents roughly a 2x in Ethereum's price. Bitcoin already put in more than a 2x from its prior all-time high. So it's definitely not out of the question that Ethereum could make it to $2,800. I think it's certainly possible. We'll just want to take it one day, 1 week at a time. Someone said they'll sell me his Ethereum for 1,600 so I can know how it feels. No, I need to know how it feels for my Ethereum to be worth 1,600, not for someone else's to be worth 1,600. You can see it's still above 1,500 on Bitfinex, but on Coinbase we're flirting with it. We're right below it. We're at 14.99 again. Let's see if we can break through it this time. Make sure you guys subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. There it is, 1,500. The sell wall's getting eaten right now. People are buying it up. It's going through. At 1,500. Oh, back down a little. Okay, so it's getting eaten a little bit here and there. The piranhas are nibbling when we get up there. Yeah, I'm sure there's sell walls on Binance too. Yeah, sorry, the regression rainbow is not in TradingView right now. I'll put it, or it is in TradingView, right? You can see it here, but it's not in. I haven't made it public yet. I'll probably make it so that the people on the premium list can get access to it here in a few weeks. But I haven't made it public yet. Or it's fighting, as we said earlier. It can take it a little while to fight through. So we'll see if we can, how long it takes. But every time we've been up to 1,500 on Coinbase a couple times now, and so I mean, every single time we visit it, we're kind of nibbling at that wall. By the way, if we not that it's going to happen, I don't think that it'll happen, but let's play a game of what if. What if we reached a level of extension from the 20-week that Ethereum reached in June of 2017? Boy, oh boy, where would it put us? I don't think we're going to reach this point. In fact, I would say I would likely be completely out of the market by this point. But if we did, where would it put us? Well, it would put us at 1.48. So where is the 20-week at 1.48? 724.66. So if we were at 724.66 and we went to valuation of 1.48, this was 725.66. So let's say 724.66. Then it would put us at a $3,000 Ethereum. So what that means is that if Ethereum reached the same level of extension from the 20-week moving average that it reached in June of 2017, then it would put it at a $3,000 Ethereum. To give you an idea, if we were to go back to that level. If we went back to this level, the same level of overextension we reached in January of 2018, it would put us at a $2,000 Ethereum. So that should be mentally, like, you know, that the people that are currently throwing out like $10,000 Ethereum in 1 month, it's likely not going to happen. You know, 2,000 Ethereum, maybe 3,000, maybe, right? We don't know. Maybe. It's not financial advice. But 10,000, I don't think so. Not that quickly. We need more time to get there. I'm not saying we can't get there. We need a lot more time to get there. And you can see, generally speaking, the 20 extension from the 20-week has been trending up for, you know, since March. Obviously, it started as being below the 20-week moving average, but if we were to continue on this path, you know, hopefully we continue to have good things in store in the not so distant future. So it looks like 1500. We said this can happen. It can hold resistance for a while. Let's see if we can ultimately break through it. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that anything is. Hey, Arturo, if you ask the question again, you're gone, buddy. I'm not saying that anything is the limit, right? I'm not saying that 3K is a limit or 2K is a limit. I'm just saying that if it went to that valuation tomorrow, then its extension from the 20-week would be the same as it was in January 2018. So if Ethereum went to the same level of extension from the 20-week moving average that it reached in January 2018, it would put it at just over a $2,000 Ethereum. That's if it happened this week. If it went to the level of extension from the 20-week this week that it reached in June of 2017, it would put it at a $3,000 Ethereum. So again, we're not saying we're going to make it to these levels of overextension. My point is, if we were to make it to those levels of overextension from the 20-week moving average, you might want to be cautious. And the reason we say that is the same thing we were looking at with Bitcoin. We're going to pull the same thing up with Bitcoin. Let's pull up the BLX so we can look at this, so that you guys know I'm not just blowing smoke here. Well, I guess you don't really know that, but if you look at levels of overextension from the 20-week for Bitcoin, it's not a perfect trend, I'll give you that, but it generally decreases with time, right? Extension from the 20-week, it generally decreases with time. And this recent level of extension from the 20-week before we saw a pullback was also in kind. It did not reach the levels that December 2017 reached. So the point is to say, can Ethereum go above some of these prior levels? Of course it can. But if we make it to those levels, you have to recognize that these were also the levels in the past where we had kind of reached our climax, if you will. That's the point. That's kind of where the climax was reached. In 2018, it was an extension from the 20-week that corresponded to valuation here of about 1.04, which at today's valuations for the price of Ethereum would correspond to around $2,100. For this one, it would correspond to $3,000. Personally, I don't think we'll make it to this level. However, you might say, well, Ben, does that mean Ethereum can't make it to $3,000? Of course not. Of course it can make it to $3,000. Again, the equation is the natural log of the price over the 20-week. and the 20-week is moving up by about $50 a week. So as long as the momentum stays and the trend up continues, right, time is on our side. Because eventually, if the let's suppose we keep this at like 1.04, so it matches the extension that we saw in January 2018, and we say, let's say Ethereum reaches the valuation, the extension from the 20-week moving average, let's say it happens in 4 weeks. Well, in 4 weeks, if the price keeps trending up, the 20-week moving average could be $900. So by that time, if it reaches that level of extension, it could correspond to a $2,500 Ethereum. The point is to say this is what it would be if it reached it this week at this level of extension from the 20-week based on what the invariant value of the 20-week moving average is this week. That's what it refers to. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Again, I don't think no one here is going to claim that we can predict short-term moves, right? We cannot predict short-term moves. As I've said before, it's geometric bounty in motion, a random walk. We can look at the market, the macro level trends, and say, either this is a trend you want to be a part of, or this is a trend you don't want to be a part of. Certainly, buying Ethereum at $1,500 is risky. It's risky. Am I buying Ethereum at $1,500? Hell no. Hell no, I'm not buying Ethereum at $1,500. However, I still own a lot of Ethereum, and I would love to see it go much higher. But you have to manage your risk, right? I have to manage my risk. I can't continue FOMOing in forever, right? Obviously that's the idea. If the idea is you just FOMO into the market week after week after week after week, at some point you get burned. So what I like to do is I like to keep a level where I say, you know what? Enough's enough. I have my stack, now let it ride. Maybe occasionally I'll take profits, but let it ride. That way you don't get burned whenever it does turn back around. That's the idea, right? And it makes it a lot easier to stomach drops, right? If you see it go back down to like $1,000 or $800 or something, who cares, right? Who cares? Because you managed your risk in a way that doesn't bet the family farm at the peak, right? And you don't want to bet the family farm at the peak. Yeah, we'll take a look back at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I mean, again, it looks pretty good. If we pull up, let's pull up the 20-month and the 50-month. These are the levels that we said that we need to watch these months, because the 20-month was what we wanted to hold as support last month. So let me pull these up here in a second. Let me just delete these. So I'm going to hide the EMA, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the other moving average. Actually, let me just go to favorites here. We'll do moving average, and we'll put in the 50-month. So that's the 50-month. Let me make it so you guys can actually see it. We'll make this white. All right. So remember, earlier in the month, last month, we were saying the 20-month is where we held resistance in the Ether Bitcoin bear market. And then we said once we break it, we should be off to the races. And we were. The reason we said that we should hold it as support here is because that's where we'd held support in the past. We had double candle bottoms, right? Double candle bottoms here. Same thing here. A huge move off the 20-month up to the 50-month. So the 50-month right now is at 0.04239256. So we're slightly above it. We're at 0.0426. It rounds to 0.0424. So we are slightly above the 50-month. Hopefully we're able to go above it. The reason why this was where we wanted to look in the past, that was where our top was back in September of 2020. But I'm hoping to see it fly much higher than that. So let's switch this back over to the weekly time frame. Let's hide these moving average. Let's put on our bull market support. This is our bull market support. You can see for Ether Bitcoin, it's completely useless. It's completely useless. It's nothing. It does not provide anywhere near the same level of usefulness as our bull market support for Ether USD, where we can identify what is support in a bull market, right? Our support in a bull market. And again here, generally riding just above support in a bull market. If you're wondering where these are today, this would be the downside risk, even if you assume we're in the middle of a multi-year bull market. The downside risk on even in a bull market would be a 720 Ether up to an 827 Ether. This is a combination of the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, Let's go for 105,000 subscribers. Yeah, let's switch back over to Ether Bitcoin because we were watching this. There's a little bit of symmetry, not a lot. There's some. If you say this was generally our bottom, and then we kind of came up to the top and then trended back down to the bottom here. Let me just draw what I'm seeing, and it's really not the best symmetry, but something that looks kind of like this, and then maybe you can look at it like that, and then it came up. And then this one just kept, it just kept hugging the top of it for a while. So we'll see if that continues to play out or not. If we draw some of those, key levels that we've looked at before, right? This was one. So we're just sort of climbing back up, one step at a time. Can you guys visualize that? Is that you can see kind of like these areas where we're putting in some symmetry here? So this is kind of what we're looking for. Yeah, the premium list does cover more than the YouTube channel. We have the risk metrics, weekly reports, weekly videos, all sorts of stuff. So Ethereum has calmed down for a little bit. Let's go back to the 1 minute chart and see what's going on. So you can see, as we said earlier when we first started, it can take a few tests. If we're able to make another run at the title, then maybe we'll break through. We'll see what happens. See what happens. We got nothing but time, right? We got nothing but time. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. There's a rumor that says we can't sustainably break 1,500 in the short term until we get to 1,000 likes. I don't know if it's true. That's the rumor. You can test it out if you want. We'll see what happens. What's up, P Dizzle? So do you guys think February is going to... It looks like it's carrying the Ethereum torch of January. Maybe we'll call it Fethuary. Maybe the fake January, but it can sometimes carry the momentum from January later in. If you have questions about the premium list, just shoot me an email through my website. intothecryptoverse.com. By the way, we also have a Telegram channel with over 14,000 people. If you guys are looking for a chat room to carry the party once the stream's over, we'll post that. Yeah, ADA is looking strong. This is our primary head. ADA, DOT, Link, all of them are looking good. Link's kind of lagging behind a little bit, but it is what it is. You can't win them all every single day. It looks like Litecoin has flipped Link in the short term. ADA is getting closer to DOT's market cap, but again, the show is on Ethereum. Let's see if Ethereum can make another run at the title. I would love to. I mean, we saw it break. We saw it break 1,500 on Bitfinex. It hit 1,500 on Coinbase. But what I would like to see is Coinbase go above 1,500, because a lot of times once you see Coinbase and Binance go above these major milestones, then it can start to run. Watching it go to 1,502 on Bitfinex isn't that valuable if it's still trending way below on other exchanges. So what we want to see, we'd like to see it make another run at the title, back at 1,500. If we don't get it on the stream, we don't get it on the stream, but at least we saw it hit 1,500. We actually saw it hit 1,500 twice, I believe. Right here and right here. So what's Bitcoin doing? So Bitcoin, let me switch back over to Bitcoin USD so we can follow along. So Bitcoin's dropping a little bit, so not too badly. It's still at 34.9. Yeah. Oh, so it did. So it went above 1,500 on Binance. I didn't know that. 1,502 on Binance. Yeah. I mean, oh well, we are getting a drop here. So it looks like we're not testing it in the very immediate term. Let's see if we can come back up a little bit later. Let's see. So Bitcoin topped here. So we probably should switch back over to like a 1 hour time frame or something. Um, let's zoom in. So Bitcoin went up to 35,654. Okay, so it's dropped back down over the last several hours, back down to, we're currently around 34,846, 34,844, somewhere in that ballpark. But the important thing I think that'll be that we'll want to see is if Bitcoin can close above its 20-day. Because if it can close above its 20-day, which it's well above right now, the 20-day moving average being at 34,135. So the 20-day moving average is at 134,135. So if the 20-day is able to rein Bitcoin back in, and this is just another wick, then Bitcoin is obviously showing that it's not immediately bullish. If it gets reined back in, just like all these other wicks that went above it. So in order to get back down to that level, though, from the current price, Bitcoin would need to drop about 2%, a modest 2% from the current price. We'll switch it back over to Ethereum. So it's at 1474. So it has dropped down some here. This was our first test right here. So that's where we want to go. Yeah, the dollar, as we said earlier, you got to keep an eye on the dollar, right? If the dollar keeps trending up, it's not good for Bitcoin. Okay, that doesn't mean that Ethereum can't pump in the short term, because we saw it chop sideways here for 4 months. It could chop sideways for a while. The point is to say that if the dollar keeps trending up, then Bitcoin is going to have a harder time trending up. That's the point. And if Bitcoin ultimately comes back down to earth, then it's going to drag other coins with it. So you have to keep an eye on the dollar, because it has been continuing to move up over the last few weeks. This is big, and moving back up is pretty substantial. Yeah, I mean, you guys can see it. I have it in some other types of analysis that I've done. But if you look at, say, the dollar, what happened in 2017? This also, it's not just Bitcoin, it also goes for stocks too. If the dollar's not doing well, the stock market does well. Look what happened in 2017. The dollar dropped by like 15%. We know 2017 was a great year for Bitcoin. Look what happened since March of 2020. The dollar dropped by 13%. The dollar dropped, it bottomed. If you zoom in, let's figure out exactly what day the dollar bottomed, so that you guys can see how fairly correlated they are, or inversely correlated. It bottomed on like January 6th, January 7th, somewhere in that ballpark. Bitcoin topped on January 8th. So there is some correlation there. And ever since then, Bitcoin has trended down while the dollar has trended up. So if the dollar keeps trending up, then Bitcoin is more likely to trend down. If Bitcoin is more likely to trend down, then other coins will ultimately lose confidence. But because Bitcoin is still above its 20-day moving average, it's not even close to the 20-week moving average yet, all the way down here. Because we're so far away from these levels, it still allows coins like Ethereum to remain somewhat confident in the short-term implications of the market. If Bitcoin dumps below like 30K and starts heading down to the 20-week moving average at like, around 20K, 22K or something. So if Bitcoin dumps like, say, below these levels, then a lot of these coins that we follow will lose confidence. So the question ultimately becomes, if the dollar remains strong, so let's suppose the worst case scenario for Bitcoin, okay? The worst case scenario for Bitcoin, I think, would be the dollar keeps going up. If the dollar keeps going up and Bitcoin keeps trending down, then the health of Ethereum will depend on how long it takes Bitcoin to ultimately fall below 30K. If Bitcoin is able to hold these levels for another week, several weeks and stuff, then Ethereum still will likely do well over that time period. If, on the other hand, the dollar remains incredibly strong in the short term and Bitcoin dumps back down to 30K, and then we ultimately dump back down below, then obviously that would be detrimental to coins like Ethereum. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 1,000 likes. And yeah, subscribe, turn on alerts. You guys know the drill. We also have a Telegram channel that you guys can join if you guys are looking for a chat community. I'll post that in the chat. Yeah, so someone asked if it touched 1,500. It did touch 1,500. It touched 1,500 on Coinbase. It went above 1,500 on some of the other exchanges. We watched it go above. We watched it go to like 1,502 on Bitfinex, but it went to like. It also went to 1,502, I think, on Binance. Someone said. I wasn't watching it, but that's what someone told me. No, it didn't stop at 1,499. It went to 1,500 on Coinbase. Let's see if Ethereum can hold the line here. Kevin says, what about if the dollar remains strong but Bitcoin trends up? Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. Obviously, anything's possible, but the data would suggest that that's not likely, right? The data suggests that if the dollar's losing value, the time frames where the dollar's losing value, that's when Bitcoin's going on amazing runs. If the dollar starts gaining value like it did in early 2018, that was the Bitcoin bear market. So if the dollar trends up, that's not good for Bitcoin. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin has to trend down. Obviously, anything's possible, but you have to consider that historically speaking, if the dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down. If the dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes up. So the idea is, are we going to hold? Is the dollar going to hold the line here, or if we zoom out, let's zoom out and look at the macro chart for the dollar. Is it going to ultimately trend much, much lower? Okay, that's the question. So you have to figure out what you think is going to happen and if you think it's worth the risk one way or the other. Yeah, I mean, we watched it hit above $1,500 in some of the exchanges. All right, let's see if we end up trending back up to test 1,500 again. Looks like Bitcoin's back above 34.9, so we might see a little bit of upward Ethereum moving back up here in a few minutes. So you can see the price difference between like Bitfinex and Coinbase. It's like $2 or $3. All right, let's see if so Bitcoin is back at 34.9. Yeah, we're trying to get to 1,000 likes, but there's still 1,400 people that have not hit the like button. What happens after 1,500? Well, as I said, I mean, if it can break 1,500, then it could I mean, I imagine it could start moving rather quickly. This is exactly what happened to Bitcoin when it broke 20K. So if Once Bitcoin broke 20K, we know it pretty quickly went to like 23K. If Ethereum is able to break 1500 and start moving, I feel like it could really move up quickly. That's my gut feeling. But again, I don't trade based on my gut feeling. I'm not like day trading or anything like that. I have my positions locked in, ready to go. I don't really care what happens in the short term. But that's just what like my feeling on the matter would be. But again, if you trade based on your feelings, you would ultimately lose a lot of money most likely. So yeah, what I said before is that, you know, like I've said this before, Bitcoin to hit its prior all-time high first, then Ethereum. You notice a lot of coins haven't hit their prior all-time highs. Ethereum likely will need to do it first. Obviously, Chainlink is one of the exceptions to that, which is why we follow Chainlink. Someone says, wasn't the major resistance 1440? So my thinking is basically, you know, Bitcoin had its resistance first at 19.5, right? And then it's the mental resistance was actually at 20K, because once it got above 20K, then it started flying. So the initial resistance for Ethereum is at 1440, which, you know, it's taken us a while to get past. I would say the mental barrier is probably 1500, because once we're at 1500, we can say, okay, well, back in 2018, the top was in the $1,400 range. Now we're definitively above that on, you know, basically every exchange. We're at $1,500. It's more of a mental barrier, I think, a $1,500 Ethereum, and we have hit it now. But we want to see it go above $1,500, because as we saw, the sell wall at 1500 kept us down. So we'll see if we can trend back up there. I mean, you can see over the last few minutes we're trending back up. We'll see if this new trend holds or not. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys want to follow along for the market cycle. We'll be here every step of the way. Yeah, 1500 is the 20K to Bitcoin. So yeah, $1,500 Ethereum is like a $20,000 Bitcoin. Is there still a monster under my kid's bed? I hope not. All right, yeah, we'll look at that. It's a decent idea. He says, how many days between Bitcoin all-time high and then Ethereum all-time high? So let's take a look. So what we're going to do, let's hide all this nonsense. We're going to go over. So let's go from, it was December 17th was the peak. How long did it take a Bitcoin to break through that all-time high? Let's zoom in so we get it accurate. 1,095 days. 1,095 days. What about Ethereum? Let's check it out for Ethereum. Let's see what's going on for Ethereum. How long has it been since its prior all-time high? Let's zoom in so we get it accurate as possible. So it looks like it was on that day. We're going to zoom or scroll it all the way over. So for Bitcoin, it was 1,095 days before it definitively broke past it, as measured from December 17th, so 1,095 days. And that assumes we broke past it on, yeah, like December 16th or so. And then for Ethereum, it's been 1,116 day, or yeah, 1116. So a little bit longer, maybe about 20 days longer, 21 days longer. We're just waiting to see if we can make another run at the title here. We'll see if this uptrend will be our friend. Yeah, I think this Ethereum move is dependent on Bitcoin behaving. Remember, as we said, when the dog's away, the cat will play. It's really when the cat's away, the mice will play, but I consider Ethereum more like a cat because it only comes out when Bitcoin, the dog, stops running around and going crazy. Once the dog is away and sleeping, the cat will come out to play. So who thinks we're going to be seeing a $1,600 Ethereum today? We'll see. We'll see if we can trend back up or not. Obviously, it will depend on Bitcoin. It will depend on Bitcoin. I mean, if Bitcoin can just calm down at a unit 34.9, I think Ethereum will likely make another run at 1,500. Someone says 1,600 is too modest. Using my own words against me. I mean, we already saw 1,500. Someone says we'll take 1,500 first. Obviously, to get to 1,600, we have to go past 1,500. We already hit 1,500. So hitting 1,500 again is not the same as hitting it the first time, which we already did. Yeah, don't schedule the Forbes interviews yet. We haven't broken out above it yet. I mean, again, if Bitcoin just holds, if it just holds at 34.9, I think Ethereum, it's only a matter of time before it trends back up. If you miss 1,500, just rewind the live stream and pretend like you're watching it live. Yeah, we said the dollar's going up. No, I'm no longer working in computational material science. I quit that job a few weeks ago. Someone says he doesn't take Forbes interviews from bed. That's probably a good thing. What did I learn at NASA that you've applied into crypto? I don't know. Programming, math. What I mean, you know, like when I was at NASA, I programmed the lunar rover component of a distributed space simulation on the moon, and I know a lot of people would say there's some relationships between the moon and crypto. I was at NASA Johnson Space Center. I did an internship there when I was 20. What software do I use to make my charts? It depends. I mean, you know, a lot of it you can do a lot of it in Python. I'm noticing there's a lot of conspiracy theorists in the chat. How long between my undergrad and PhD? Well, I graduated undergrad in 2012, and then I started my PhD in 2013, and graduated my PhD in 2018. So I started college in 2008, and I finished my PhD in 2018. So it was 10 years. I took about out of that entire time, I was not in school for about a year because I did an internship, and then I also, after I graduated undergrad, I took one semester off before starting grad school. How old am I? I'm 30. What did I study? Nuclear engineering for graduate school. Math for undergrad. All right. So the uptrend has not continued. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it we'll see if we end up getting another run up here. Let's see. I mean, so Bitcoin is back down to 34.8. The dollar is climbing. So this is the problem. This is the problem. Is the dollar seems to be climbing here. So this is what we want to keep an eye on. Let's switch back over to let's look at a 5-minute time frame for the dollar and see what's going on. Let's hide that, auto that out. So you can see the dollar is trending up here. So this is what Bitcoin's fighting against. The dollar's trending up. Bitcoin does not like it when the dollar trends up. It's that simple. All right, let's go back over to Ethereum and see if it's gonna. I would be somewhat bummed out if it doesn't make another run at 1500 on stream. No, I'm not. I don't have any plans to do a hedge fund. Someone said, "Don't be bummed. You can always rewind and play it back." I guess that's true. I can watch the live stream later and relive the $1,500 push. Do I think the Bitcoin bull market is over? I mean, it's always possible that the short-term pump is over, but I think the bull market still has a long way to go over the entire market cycle. This is where we are. Actually, this is okay. So this is not updated. This is a January 1st picture, but it shows you, in the grant. This is the entire cryptocurrency market capitalization. It's not just Bitcoin. But in terms of the grand scheme of a market cycle, we're nowhere near the multi-year theoretical peak. I mean, yeah, we could be at some local peak, and we trend down for a while, but I don't think we're at one of our major blow-off peaks yet by any means. And again, we've showed this before, where you can look at the extension from if you take the total market, the total cryptocurrency market capitalization divided by the fair value regression line, you get that trend, and you can see we're nowhere near. This one's actually old, so this one's actually a month old, but we were nowhere near it. I think right now we're like right here. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So here we are. So this is where we currently are. You can see where we are in the grand scheme of the entire crypto cycle. So hopefully that makes sense. If you want to know more about that analysis, check out my Bitcoin, the Beauty of Mathematics video that I put out a couple days ago. Can you guys hear me, or is the stream over? Maybe you guys can hear me. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna turn slow mode on. There's a lot of the chat. Am I still lagging, or am I still here? I don't know. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Someone says we're back. Hopefully we're back. All right, let's see if Ethereum wants to make another run here. All right, what else do you guys want to look at? I mean, obviously ADA has had a great run. Yeah, so a lot of other coins are moving as well. So DOT is back at $17. ADA is around 44 cents. Link's not really doing a whole lot right now. It's at 22.86. But remember, Link is more likely to move when the rest of the market's not moving. So it's not that surprising. DXY is just the U.S. dollar currency index. It's basically the weighted value of the dollar against a lot of currencies that the U.S. trades with, like currencies of countries that the U.S. does a lot of trading with. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's go for 105,000 subscribers. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the Telegram channel. We'll post the Telegram channel here. You guys can check that out if you want. Yeah, can you guys hear my kid crying in the background? Yeah, we see DXY going up. It's well above 91 at this point. Someone says any historical indication that the dollar can trend up in the same way that Bitcoin can. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, over the macro scale, if the dollar trends up for months and months and months, it's going to be really hard for Bitcoin to do that, as we showed, right? I mean, 2017 was good for Bitcoin, and it was when the dollar lost like 15%. Since March, it was good for Bitcoin. The dollar lost 13%. So historically, and you can look here. What happened here? Do you guys remember 2014? The dollar went up, and it peaked in early 2015. The Bitcoin bear market stopped. The bottom was around that level. So we know that the Bitcoin bears were out in full force when DXY was going up. So if DXY goes up like it did here and here, if it goes up for a sustained period of time, it's generally not good for Bitcoin. Give him some Satoshis to play with. All right, what's Ethereum doing? Oh man, maybe we're not gonna revisit 1500 on stream again. We'll have to go back and watch it live, or watch it after it's no longer live to relive it. My exit strategy is all just based on the risk levels for the various cryptocurrencies. That's stuff I talk about on the premium list into the cryptoverse.com. I mean, of course, stimulus and stuff affects the dollar, but the problem is that it being priced in can happen well before you think it'll happen. I mean, obviously people are anticipating a stimulus that has not stopped the dollar from going up because maybe the stimulus had already been priced into what the dollar had dumped down to. So I think GameStop will be a catalyst for decentral technologies. Yeah, I think it could be. I mean, the idea that centralized exchanges or centralized platforms can just delist a stock or make it so that you can only sell it and not buy it, I mean, that's market manipulation. I feel like it could bring more people into crypto in general, into the idea of decentralization. Sorry, we're not going to talk about leverage trading here. There's plenty of other YouTubers that will show you their affiliate links, though. You can go ask them. Yeah, I mean, just because the dollar is trending up doesn't mean it's going to trend up for 3 years. I mean, it could trend up for 6 months and then turn back around. Right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to trend up for 3 years or anything like that. does Into the Cryptoverse have Discord? It has a premium Telegram alerts channel and a Telegram chat room. Everything's done on Telegram, not Discord. We do have a Discord, but it's inactive. What benefits does the premium list have compared to the free content? So we do weekly reports, weekly videos, a private Telegram alerts channel, Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, which is what I use to buy and sell crypto, not financial advice. We have premium only live streams. Yeah, we talked about exit strategy, all that stuff. Yeah, you guys can check it out, intothecryptoverse.com. I thought about doing another, because there's so many new people, I thought about doing another monthly subscription sale soon. Because people, or a lot of people are asking about it. I might do that in a little bit. But I don't know exactly when I'm going to do another sale, but if you're watching the stream and you want to sign up for a lower price, I will post a link in the chat and you guys can get the monthly subscription for a slightly lower price. Or I put it in the comments. Yeah, so if you want, you can follow the link. We did a sale like a month or two ago, and there's a lot of new people in the space asking about it. So we'll let some more people sign up. If you want to sign up at the lower rate, you can do that. All right, I just want to stay on stream because I wanna watch Ethereum break through 1500. I mean, we saw it get to 1500, but let's watch it break through. Is there any free lunch in the Cryptoverse premium list? Actually, you know what? I think in maybe whenever the pandemic's over, I think it would be cool to have like an Into the Cryptoverse meetup somewhere, maybe like New York or something. Like a major city that people can easily get to. Obviously, right now with the pandemic and stuff, it's not really that feasible. But it would be cool to have like a big like meetup type conference or something where we all like go to a hotel or something for a weekend, and talk crypto or whatever. Maybe at that conference I'll provide a free lunch, and then I can say, here's your free lunch. Do I really want to meet these people after Moon? Well, the idea is that these people will have taken profits and they'd have their appropriate stop limits in place if they're up insane amounts of money and want to change their life, so that hopefully they'll be happy that they actually followed a systematic strategy and didn't bet the family farm at the peak. I'm not British, no. I live in the United States. A free lunch, you say? Yeah, maybe I'll provide like a free lunch for everyone, and it'll be a big sign that says like get your free lunch, because this is the only one you're gonna get when it's related to crypto. Everything else comes with a risk. Some people are saying Miami's better than, or going to like Florida would be better than New York. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. It'll certainly be in the United States. Probably on the East Coast. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to be on the East Coast of the United States in approximately 2 years. We have to get past the pandemic first. No, we don't play music. You can play your own music. That's the way it works, right? You don't need to listen to my music because my music is probably not everyone's taste in music. So just put on your own music, and then you can set your own tune or the own mood you want to set. Yeah, there'll be a vegetarian option. My wife's a vegetarian, so of course there'll be a vegetarian option. How about free sushi for premium members? I actually just bought my wife some sushi today. Vegetarian sushi, though, which seems kind of strange to me, but it is what it is. All right, we'll see if Ethereum, what it's doing here. It hasn't done much of anything recently. And by recently, I mean the last like 30 minutes. We'll see if it can get back on a new trend. How do I make the log charts? I mean, you can use Python. Is my wife a genius like me? I don't consider myself a genius. But she does have a doctorate. Let's see, what are the other coins doing? I mean, ADA is still at 43 cents. It's still at 43 cents. It was at less than 40 cents yesterday. It was like, what, like 35 cents yesterday at some point? DOT is moving above 17, which is good to see. Link is still just shy of 23. So I do own Tesla. I do. I've tried. It's been a long time since I've talked about or tried to analyze. It's done something so incredible. I sold some Tesla. I sold part of my position a few months ago, and then I just let the rest ride. I haven't sold it yet. Maybe I should think about it soon, but I still have some. Yeah, Tesla is one of those ones where like I bought a lot. I mean, I like to bet on people, not. I mean, I think betting on Elon Musk makes a lot of sense. But I am worried as to how much longer it can trend up. Again, I took profits like on it like months ago, and it's trended up since I took profits. And I still have a decent size position, which is actually more than it was, even though I sold a lot. My current position on Tesla is the value of it is actually higher than it was when I sold a lot because the prices continue to go up. So I've still been holding it, but I am tempted to cash that out sometime in the not so distant future. All right, let's okay, so what's Bitcoin doing? I mean, why don't we take a look again at our what do we want to look at? Here are the regression bands. So I think it was pretty good at helping us identify our reaccumulation zones. Now, if you look at extension from the regression band, you can see that the one in 2019 ultimately reached around a modest 200% or so, and this one reached about 270. Right, this one was less than 200, or it was less than 217. I didn't go to the actual bottom. So it was around 195, about 195, give or take a few percentage. This one was 270 or so. So we reached a level of overextension greater in 2021 than we did in 2019. However, we have not yet reached escape velocity to get us up here. We've not yet reached escape velocity. All right, Bitcoin is trending, it's moving back up here a little bit. Let's switch over to a 1 minute time frame so we can actually see the trend. I mean, obviously 1 minute time frames we can't predict in any way, shape, or form, but at least when we're on live stream, what else are we going to do? It had been trending down for the last hour or so, and now it's starting to go back up. Maybe this will be enough to get Ethereum to go back up. Someone is asking me about politics, so I'm not going to say anything specifically about politics, but what I can tell you is that I've previously looked at the 6 different scenarios that could happen within the White House, the House of Representatives, and the Senate, and based on who's in power historically tends to yield various returns in the stock market. So and it's been a while since I looked at it, but I think the I'm trying to remember. It's been so long. I think with a Democratic sweep, the average stock market return in the years where Democrats sweep it is like 5 or 6% per year. If there's a complete sweep, which is what there was, right? The Democrats took the House, the Senate, and the White House. So, yeah. So I think the average stock market return when the Democrats sweep it is around 5 to 6%. All right, I gotta head out, but I will be back a little bit later. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Remember, if you guys want to check out the premium list, I'll just post a deal just for you guys right now. I'll maybe do it later, but I gotta get going. I'll be back a little bit later. Make sure you guys subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.